Let's get into this video. Hi everyone, how you doing? Now, I was sitting here and I was reading this article and I'm thinking about what is it like to marry out of your race? I've never done it, but I know a lot of people are in, relationships where they've married someone out of their race. And so in this case, this mother-in-law refuses to apologize for racist comments to her daughter-in-law. And it says, is there ever an appropriate time or place to make a joke about race? Now, we know that race is a very sensitive subject, and it can be a sensitive subject, especially if you are married to someone of a different race. And say you're, hanging out, fellowshipping, or socializing, or at a dinner, especially like a Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas, maybe even New Year's, a party, or a family backyard barbecue, and the issue of race comes up. Maybe someone makes a racist remark or racist comment. And so, marriage isn't easy and it's difficult when you have in laws that make it even harder when you have married someone out of your race and they're making these statements and these comments. And you feel compelled, since the comments, racist remarks are made against you and to you. So you feel compelled to come, and defend yourself. And you don't want to be too pushy or opinionated about it. And you kind of want think about it before you react. But sometimes people can cross the line with these racist remarks, especially if you are a black woman married to a white man and you have white in-laws. It can be a problem. And so in this particular couple, you know, she said that she's a black woman married to a white man, and his mother has been known to make racist jokes and comments to the author. So, and this is the author talking about this, and he said she gave an example that when she was pregnant with their second child, the mother-in-law complained that her grandchild eyes would likely be brown rather than blue. And then she said when her grandson was born, she was outwardly disappointed by his brown eyes and tightly curled hair. And she also had made a comment originally, about the first child, about his eyes and what color they may be, and then tension started to bubble over, and it became, an edgy situation. And at a dinner party, the mother-in-law introduced the author to her friends, which was the daughter-in-law, as her black daughter-in-law. Now, that's uncalled for. That's quite rude, and it is insensitive, and it's uncalled for. Why would you need to introduce your daughter-in-law as I like to introduce my black daughter-in-law? That don't sound right. That sounds out of place and out of line. So she did that, and the author pulled the woman aside. So the daughter-in-law pulled the mother-in-law aside and asked her to stop with her digs. And the mother-in-law simply said in response, "You're my daughter-in-law and you're black. You people are so sensitive." Now, you people is very, very, it's derogatory when you say you people. It's a biased statement, very stereotypical, but it's biased. You people. And so that is like putting people on the defense and almost like fighting words when you say you people. My question is, I would have asked her, well, what do you mean by you people? What do you actually mean by you people? I like to know. And I would have wanted an answer from her. So I would have asked her, what do you mean by you people? And I would have waited for that answer. But she probably wouldn't have been able to give it because she wouldn't have expected you to ask, what do you mean by you people? She probably would have started stuttering, like, you people. No, I don't know you people. But I do want to hear from you and understand what your take is on this. I like to hear from you. Let me know what you mean, your thoughts are about you people, you know. And so she goes on, and it was at that point that the daughter-in-law loudly called the woman racist in front of the other party guests. And as soon as she called her mother-in-law racist everyone at the party turned against her, and she was escorted out of the house with her husband. So they 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 kicked them out. It kicked them out of the dinner party, and and unfortunately, that happens a lot in families where you marry into a family of a different race. So she concludes by saying that she later argued with her husband about what his mother had said, and while the mother-in-law wasn't held accountable for her words or hurtful actions. And the daughter-in-law refused to apologize to the mother-in-law, and for that reason, the husband stormed out of the house and went to stay with his mother. Now, the daughter-in-law, she is wondering if she was out of line for calling out her mother-in-law's distasteful words. Now, I have a question. What do you think about that? Was she justified in calling out her mother-in-law at the party? Or was she just being oversensitive and took things too personally? Well, in my opinion, she pulled her aside and she told her. And since the mother-in-law wanted to make it public by making sure that everyone knew that was when she introduced her as my black daughter-in-law, she made that public, the mother-in-law, in front of everybody else. So since you're making it public, let's not make it public. So the daughter-in-law responded publicly. See, if you wanted to do something in private, then you should do it in private. But since the mother-in-law made it public, and so the daughter-in-law responded in public. That's how I look at it. And I feel she was justified in calling it out. Because if you don't call it out, it's going to keep going on. It's going to get worse. Call it out in front of everybody. Let them know where you stand and don't back down. Stand for what you believe in. Don't fall for anything. Stand for what you believe in. Call it out publicly, just like she put you out there publicly making that statement. She introduced you as the black daughter-in-law, and then you publicly responded to her in front of everybody that she introduced you to. So, hey, I stand with her. I feel she's justified in that. Not only that, I think the husband is wrong. Run off and put his tail between his legs and go stay with his mother. No, he needs to stand with his wife. He married her. You have 2 children by your black wife. Yes. So you have 2 children and you need to stand with the woman that you married. That's what you need to do. But yet still you ran over to your mother's house instead of standing with your wife. Because see, I'm gonna tell you, I seen it. I seen it in families, and you know what? At some point, I'm gonna tell you the truth. When it's a black woman married to a white man and that stuff be going on, eventually that black woman gets tired. They give chances because we are real patient as black women, want to give chances, chance after chance after chance after chance. And it's not just even in marriage, it's on your job, it's in, friendships. You want to give chances, but especially on your job. And people keep on doing stuff, and after a while, you're going to have to call them, pull them aside and have a conversation with them or talk with them, and they might get mad. And hey, I had to do it on my job, and they get mad. They don't like it when you stand up for yourself and call out their racist, their racist behavior and stuff like that, and bias and stereotypical behavior. They don't like that. And so she called it out. The husband ran off to the mother's house, and I think that's where he needs to stay. See, for me, I'll be like, you know what, stay on over there. That's where you need to be. Stay over there with your sorry family. Stay over there with your mother. See, because you being less than a man. You got family over here and you're gonna run over there. Because see, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And when you do get married, you're not supposed to leave your family. You're supposed to cling to your wife and your family. So how are you running over to your mother's house when your mother is wrong and she kept being wrong and you never corrected her? You see, the husband should have corrected his mother and he wasn't doing it. So she, as the wife, felt compelled to stand up for herself at some point. And we have a right to defend ourselves. We have a right to stand up for ourselves. And we don't have to get all indignant and get loud and curse folks out and get nitty gritty with them. But what we do need to do is let them know, you know what? This is what it is. And so she let the mother-in-law know. And so no, I don't believe she's being overly sensitive, and I don't think she took things too personally. I think the mother-in-law has been throwing personal jabs at the daughter-in-law for a long time because she doesn't like the fact that the daughter-in-law is black and that her son married a black woman. She needs to check her son. If you got a problem with who he married, then you need to sit down and talk to him, and then he needs to talk to you, and y'all both need to sit down together with your family and let your mother know, this is my wife. I'm going to be with her. This is the woman I chose. We're together. We have a family. You either accept it or you don't. You don't get to see your grandkids anymore if you keep it up, because what are you promoting? You're actually trying to say that my children is not good enough, and they're not the way you want them to look. So he really should have checked his mother a long time ago. He shouldn't have had to put his wife on spot to have to check her mother-in-law, because her husband should have checked his mother a long time ago, because he didn't have to marry her. He chose to marry this woman. He chose to marry out his race. So he needs to stand up and be a man and get his tail from between his legs and come back home. And if you don't want to come back home, stay on over there, and me and the kids will be just fine. And we'll be seeing you in the court of law. Because see, we don't have time to play games. We as black women are valued, we worthy, and we need to stand for what is right. And if someone doesn't accept you and they're not willing to stand with you, hey, let me tell you something, they're willing to fall for anything. And that's what he did. And so I don't know if they got back together. It doesn't say that in this story. But however, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about this? But I want to get back to the husband. You ran off and left your family. Man, oh man, oh man, that's so weak. That is 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 weak. And I don't know, do you have an inheritance that you're trying to protect? I don't know what it is, but bro, you should have thought about that before you married out of your race. You should have made sure it was very clear that who you was marrying, that you loved her, and that y'all eventually going to have a family together and bear children. There's going to be some grandchildren involved, but you need to check your mother. Check your mother, I'm telling you, because if you don't check her, she going, you going to wreck her. And the same thing, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. And he might be wrecking himself, because, when you run off like that and you're not being a part of your wife's support system, and standing side by side with her and holding your children's hand, but you ran over to your mother's house and now you're over there when you should have stepped in, and you should have pulled your mother aside, and you should have corrected that in private, because it shouldn't have never happened at a dinner where you got all these other people there and she on notice. Why should we as black people continue to be put down and beat down and uh, treated less than human and dehumanized in front of other people? And we don't have a right to say so? No, we have a right to say so. And this is where we at with this. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this. It's very interesting, but this is my opinion, but I'm keeping it real, and this is real talk, my friends, sisters, family, and brothers. God bless you all.